Yo, I think we're live. Turn up the volume here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of BrewFOs. Today I'm going to be talking to Vinnie Adams of Disclosure Team. He's involved also, he's a member of the UAP Media UK. I think that's what they're called, UAP Media. He's an ambassador for the UAP Society. I've watched his YouTube channel for Disclosure Team and watched some of his conversations. If you guys don't follow Disclosure Team, go follow them either on YouTube or on his Instagram. You could go to Vinny's page and all of his links are in his bio, so you can go check him out. Yeah, he's talked to pretty much everybody. And I've learned so much what's going on with the UAP issue. If you're new to the UAP issue, again, that's Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. In 2017, the New York Times put out an article about it, and pretty much the Pentagon was, and our government was telling everybody there's something going on here and it's real with UFOs. And before 2017, I was kind of in the mindset with like, yeah, there's probably other life, because the universe is so big, or, there's other life on other planets and other galaxies. Maybe they haven't come here, maybe they have, but if friends or, if someone would bring it up, like, and start talking about it seriously, I was like, okay, this person's kind of crazy. Yeah, man, I hear what you're saying, but, all right, see you later, And so I would just kind of think they're kind of weird or whatever. And now I'm in the boat where, if I try to talk to people about it, that's kind of the look I see in their face. And I'm like, damn it, I know where they're coming from. But now there's more validity to it because of, after 2017 and everything that's happened since then. So I can't wait to talk to Vinny, because Vinny knows more about this than I do. And it'd be cool to kind of bridge that gap where people kind of feel outside of it and like don't know what's going on. And maybe just me and Vinny talking about it will help kind of bring people up to date. I try to post as much as I can, but I definitely don't do as much as Disclosure Team does. And I'm so glad there's people out there doing what Vinny does. And there's so many other people that I hope to talk to on future episodes. So with that said, let's get Vinny on here. And I'm all new to this like Instagram live stuff. So I am let me see here. I think we did this before. Here we go. I'm gonna send Vinny a yeah, okay.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I didn't know if I should, I'm still getting used to this stuff. I didn't know if I should wear headphones too, because sometimes I see people wearing headphones and sometimes I don't.
I'm just used to it. It's just a habit that I do. If you noticed earlier when I went live, I didn't.
Yeah.
But whenever I speak to someone, I do. I don't know. I don't think it matters.
Because I don't want that, like sometimes there's that echo, people are like, ugh, get kind of annoying.
Yeah, I guess if anybody's in the chat and they can hear any echo, then they'll let us know. But I think we'll be good.
Yeah, I have some headphones back there I could throw on or whatever. But do you have a beverage with you by any chance? Are you cheers? Nice to
Cheers,
meet
brother.
you. Yeah,
Thank you so
there we go.
much for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
No, man, I'm stoked to talk to you. I don't think I mentioned this in the intro, but you have a series called Phenomenology.
Yeah.
And I would love to talk about that, but I just want to let you know, my wife and I, we finished the season 1, and great work, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, and so I mean that's the whole point, obviously.
Yeah.
But maybe we can talk about that a little bit. I mean, we can just shoot into that. I was gonna, I wanted to start with how you got into the UAP thing. Maybe let's go into phenomenology after that. So let's just start with like, how did you get into this whole UAP issue? Like, what's your story? You know?
I guess it's like a lot of people, you know, I grew up as a big science fiction fan. I was born in the late 70s, so I grew up with like E.T., Star Wars, all that stuff. And I guess space and that whole seeing aliens as like a 4 or 5 year old in Star Wars was just like the norm for me. And I was like, I wish this was real.
Yeah.
And then I guess like the more you kind of grow up with that kind of thing, you just start asking the questions. Well, could it be real? And I want to know about this. And so that was like it. And then, you know, once I got into my teenage years and started seeing documentaries and stuff on UFOs and not really thinking that deeply about it, but always being like, okay, this is like something that could be a possibility, could be real. But it wasn't until I was a lot older, probably in my, well, I don't know now, I'm going to age, probably when I hit about 30 and that I was watching documentaries again and I was like, there's more to this. I kept hearing about declassified documents and archives and things like that. So I think it was about 2011. I just started one night. I'd watched the UFO documentary and I was sat at my computer and I was like, I'm going to look for these declassified documents and archives. And so I sat and I was on the FBI website and all different stuff and started downloading documents. And before I knew it, I was like I'd spend weeks up till the early hours of the morning just going through documents and trying to piece things together. And it became evident, really clear that there was something to this. And it kind of just went from there, man. Like I did that for over a decade.
And so for me, you know, I was kind of, I mean, similar, you know, growing up, but like I wasn't, you know, looking for documents or anything like you. So when 2017 happened, you know, what was that like, especially, I mean, because you were already looking into this stuff. So what was that like for you?
It was huge, man. I mean, I'll just take it back to like 2013 was a pivotal year because Stephen Bassett arranged the citizens' hearings on disclosure, which were congressional hearings with ex-Congress members. So it was like it wasn't legit. It was just like a playthrough about what it would be like if it actually happened in Congress. And that really kind of got people talking, like that the government may take this seriously.
And if people don't know, Stephen Bassett he's like a UFO researcher that's like kind of like one of the GOATs, kind of like Grant Cameron, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, big disclosure advocate. And so that was huge in 2013. But then after a few months, that kind of fizzled out and it was back to how it's always been, you know. And so obviously 2017 hit and it was a really strange time because my partner was pregnant and my daughter was due at the start of December. And she was born at the start of December. So my life was all focused on that. And then like literally like a week and a half after my daughter was born, the New York Times article dropped. And so my life kind of was just all over the place. I'm like, new daughter, family life. And I'm like, but this is happening. That's like as well. So
paradigm shifts at once.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Oh my God.
It was huge. So of course that was just like totally, my focus was on daytime dad life, and then nighttime was like keeping my eye on everything that was developing in that, because, you know, we had the New York Times article, we had the Politico story, but then, you know, there was just so much talk in the community, and I wasn't in the community, but I watched it from afar.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just, so for the same for 2018, you know, it was like, I just, every day I was looking at stuff and that, but I wasn't in the community. I didn't have my face or name anywhere. I was just doing my own private research, as it were.
Let's talk about the community real quick. So like, because I think there's another paradigm shift that's also happened. I think because, you know, after 2017, I started watching the community from afar, pretty much like UFO Twitter. I started learning about it and saying, well, this is crazy what all these people are posting. Like, what shit's true, you know. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
And but now I feel like I was just talking to my wife about this. I feel like the ufology community, or the UFO community, or whatever, UAP community, however they define themselves today, they've done so much for this. And you know, and obviously there's bad stuff, there's trolls, there's stuff that happens all over social media, and you got to watch out for that. You know, one of the reasons I love watching you speak too is, you know, there's just certain people. I was telling this to my first episode, Scott Wolter. He's kind of like this too. But whenever I see you talk and certain people talk within the community, you know, you guys just seem like your vibe is like so peaceful and like loving and positive, and especially your friend Dan, man. What's Dan's last name? It's like, is it Swedish?
Zetterstrom.
Zetterstrom. Sorry if it's not Swedish, Dan. I just sounded like it. But Dan too, he gives that off. But you guys just, you know, if there's anybody trolling or being negative, you're just like, hey, that's not welcome here, you know. And I really appreciate that. I know everyone else does. But where I was going with this is that it seems like now that we have UAP legislation, you know, and now that it was just signed, right?
Well, the NDAA just passed the House of Representatives, so it needs to go through the Senate.
Okay,
but it'll happen.
Yeah, because it usually does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but just to wrap, like, people, this is why I'm talking to you too, because, like, you know, I don't want people to think like the ufology community or the UFO community is something that's like, you know, a club that like is just weirdos or something. Like, I think now the paradigm has shifted. So now civilization is the community.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually happening, guys. Like,
yeah.
You are part of the community. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But like, you come on over. Like, and I kind of want to, like, you know, how you mentioned Steve Bissett, and how I mentioned Grant Cameron, and we can mention a lot of people. A lot of people won't know who they are, and
sure.
So I kind of want to, like, maybe like bridge that gap and just be like, you know, you guys, like, Congress is taking this seriously, and if you just go back and read, like, let me give a shout out real quick to Ross Coulthart. If you guys have heard of Ross Coulthart. In Plain Sight, if anyone wants to read a book, you can recommend books too, but sure. After I finished that book, like, he starts in 1947, pretty much when, if no one or people don't understand the significance of that year, in 1947 is the Roswell crash. And he's very, like, he's skeptically talking about it. So basically, he just gives you all the information, what happened, who was involved, who said what, from 1947 to present day. And when I finished that book, I was just like, yep. What the hell is going on here? You know? And how is it for you, man? Like, I know you probably have friends and family that they're like, oh, you're the alien guy, you know? I don't know. That's how it is for me sometimes. I'm like, no, man, I'm not the alien guy. You know?
Yeah, I don't talk about it much outside of my work, I suppose. Obviously my partner and close and a bit of extended family know about it, and it's been received quite well.
That's good.
But I just generally don't talk about it. If people ask what I do, I do tell them. You know, I host a podcast. I work with a company in the UK. We liaise with the media, the Ministry of Defence, Parliament, on the issue of unidentified aerial phenomena. And most people just go, wow, that's amazing. I didn't expect it, you know, that. But kind of that's as far as it goes. I don't use the word alien, you see, because I think the conversation's moved way beyond assumptions that it's just an alien race. There are too many things. But I think one thing, and I'll just chime in on what you said there about Ross Coulthart's book, it is a really great book to read as someone maybe new to the subject, because Ross is fairly new himself. And as an investigative journalist, he came at this with that kind of skeptical mind, like you said, and he just put in the work. he spoke to people, he gathered the data, he was lucky enough to kind of get some inside sources, and like you said, he put it all together in a very, very readable way, and I think that's really helped the subject. You know, Ross is a very well established, award-winning journalist in Australia, worked for 60 Minutes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, that's why people need to ask the questions. You know, if these people are talking about it, is there something to this?
Yep.
And yeah, there is. So
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
I remember actually seeing Ross, like, because I think he's been going for a long time, but like when I saw a segment he did, and then I started seeing him pop up on UFO Twitter and like on YouTube, some interviews that he was talking about it. But I was like, I know this guy. Like, I've seen his work before, you know, before he even talked about UFOs or UAPs.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just watching his he has a podcast, Need to Know, and then I can't remember, he did something on, I think it was if it wasn't 60 Minutes, it was some other news organization that, I mean, I think he works for 60 Minutes, but it was like where he went to some part of New Mexico and saw like where the I think it was New Mexico.
Yeah, so he works for the 7 News network in Australia now. So he's done a couple of documentaries through 7 News. So he did the first one where he went out, he did New Mexico, he went and met Lou Elizondo, David Marler, some of the big names in the subject, you know, and he did great. Again, it was on a very investigative journalist kind of way, you know, seeking out the people to speak to get the information. And it was a well-produced documentary. He's done one since, I don't know if you've seen it, where it's a little less, you know, he speaks to a guy with a metal ball. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, and he talks to Gary Nolan a little bit too.
Yeah, which, you know, that got a lot of hate, but he's not afraid to touch upon the kind of the taboo part of this subject as well. And you know, there's only so much he can do when you're working for a big network. The network wants it to look sensationalist and stuff like that, and that's kind of something that has plagued this subject for a long time, and it's not quite finished yet in this subject. So we're still trying to navigate it in that respect. But you know, Ross does good work, and you know, I'm lucky enough to know him quite well now. We speak fairly regularly, and he's a good guy. You know,
I wrote him recently, and then he wrote me. I asked him if he could do BrewFOs, and he was like, "Hit me up next year." He's like, "It sounds great, you know." So like, if I can get Ross on here, I'd love to talk to him about his book.
Yeah,
so,
that's the thing. He is so busy. Like I spoke to him a couple of days ago. I asked him to do something for me, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it by the weekend." And then here we are, like nearly a week later, and I've not heard anything. And it's like, I know how busy he is. You know, when I've interviewed him in the past, it's taken like weeks and weeks to get responses and stuff. So that's just, you know, he probably gets 100 emails an hour.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you know, rightfully so, because I mean, I think, you know, there's certain people that are working behind the scenes and, you know, publicly, but like that, you know, it's just like, wow, like when you know these people's like history and where they come from, and then you just see how they are and hear about what they're doing. Like, you know, I know Lou Elizondo's gotten a lot of flack and people coming up with conspiracies and stuff, but Sean Cahill, same thing. But those two guys, like, you know, every time I've seen them talk, they always talk about like, we need to come together, we need to figure out what this is. They're promoting, like, they're so positive. They're like, you know, this isn't for one group of people, this is for everybody. Like, it doesn't sound like they're selling anything.
Sure.
And whenever I, like, you know, hear people talking, it just sounds like they're selling something, or they're talking shit about another group or whatever. I don't get that at all from Lou or Sean ever. And again, there's other people in you know, that are working at this that are like that too. But like, you know, I just and you know Lou personally as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I spotted it. I woke up this morning and I had an email from Lou's wife about meeting them next year with their daughter. I mean, that's not the kind of email you get from a disinformation agent, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man. No, he just seems like the nicest dude, and
He really
I
is.
love hearing him talk too. I mean, we all miss him. He was doing a lot of for those of you that don't know, Lou ran the once secret UAP UFO. What was it, the task force, or what do you call that? Program?
It was the UFO program run out of the
Program.
Pentagon. So it was the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which was run out of the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for a decade, basically.
Yeah, and so and if for again, people that don't know about him, thanks for that. But what is he doing now? He's going and briefing people. He's trying to tell everybody, behind the scenes in Congress, and what is he talking to everybody in military? Like, is he trying to get people to come forward? Do you know about what's going on more?
Not so much military from my understanding, but yeah, he has kind of bridged the gap between leaving his position in 2017 because he wasn't happy with the way the subject was being dealt with within the Pentagon and that. But yeah, he's basically brought this subject to the attention of the Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, and that has elevated the conversation to the point where last year we saw the National Defense Authorization Act include really serious UAP language. And then this year, now we've got, an elevated conversation in the NDAA that is going to, bring it even further into the Congress's eyes. So yeah, it's moving the ball forward on the seriousness of this subject when it comes to the reality of it. Now, when I say reality, I don't mean the reality of alien extraterrestrial life, but the fact that there is something anomalous being seen regularly all over the world, but specifically in his case and with the Congress in US airspace, that defies the laws of physics, that is seen regularly by military pilots, that causes concern. So, that's something that has to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and that's what I was meaning by military pilots. I saw the Unidentified.
Yeah.
His series Unidentified. That was his History Channel, I believe. But
it was, yeah.
Yeah. And then they had so many interviews with people that have dealt with this that were, was it Navy pilots, like Navy what can I think with the words I made, like sailors or something?
Yeah, there
guys on ships and stuff.
Absolutely, but also other military sources from a decade or two ago that had seen strange things and were finally felt comfortable coming forward. And one of the pilots was Ryan Graves, who was involved with the incidents off the East Coast in 2015, where they were seeing these strange spheres encased in cubes. And Ryan Graves has announced that he's actually releasing his own podcast soon, where he's got new pilots and military personnel coming forward for the first time to talk about what they've experienced. So the conversation is just growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
It's just exciting to see.
Yeah, for sure. I also, I just want people to know, like, you could, if you just want to start looking up stuff, like on how serious this is, like, it's pretty much like astronauts, Air Force people, Navy people, physicists, like if you go all the way back to, I mean, probably further, but as far as I know, the 40s till present day, it's almost overwhelming how many people, like, and if you see their credentials and what they've done and who they were, if some of them passed away, it's and the deathbed confessions, it's like, I think I heard something, I don't know if it's true, but I heard something that the UAP issue has more like deathbed confessions than like most issues or something like that. And I was like, wait, what? That's pretty gnarly. I don't know if it's true.
It could be. Again, these are the kind of things, deathbed confessions are really interesting. And a lot of the times they're really eye-opening, the kind of information that's being talked about. But again, it's only really impactful if it's verifiable after the fact. And unfortunately, very few deathbed confessions had come with a data after the fact. And so I kind of hold this in this little area here to the side where it's amazing, but if it's not verifiable, I can't put too much weight on it, because if it's proven to be false down the line, then that kind of ruins my credibility. So I kind of catalog everything in different stages, depends on the evidence available that backs it up. It's a minefield, this subject.
Yeah, no, for sure. One of the ones that really like kind of made me go, huh, or like, back when, or whatever, a few years ago, again, because I didn't start taking this seriously until 2017, but I mean, like, well, I'll get to that, but like when Tom DeLonge was on Joe Rogan, I remember going to band practice after and just be like, oh man, Tom's like lost his mind, just telling him, like, oh, poor guy, like, what's wrong with him, and I'm sure a lot of people still think that.
Sure.
But like,
oh yeah, definitely.
After 2017 and the article came out and the Pentagon's like, yeah, I was like, oh sorry, Tom. But there's still stuff he says where I just can't go there yet.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
he does go, he's not afraid to go out there.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, you didn't lie to us about these 3 videos that are coming out or whatever, but and you've said a lot of stuff that's come to be true, but I don't know if I can go there, so, certain things, and sometimes I'll get people that write me, I'm sure you get this a lot too, and they're like, saying something that's pretty crazy, and like, I'm not saying they're crazy, maybe something did happen to them, but I can't prove it. And like, even I think that's what's hard to bridge the gap with people that get involved in the UAP issue, is because there's so much of that if you start talking to people about abductions or something, they're going to go, okay, I'm not going to listen to you anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. That's something that I've had to learn how to deal with. And it's like, if I've interviewed people, who've had abduction experiences, and, it's not a case of, do I believe them? I will never say I do or I don't.
Yeah.
It's a case of they believe what they're telling me, and I respect that. And, I will never say to anybody, you're talking, I'm not going to curse, but you're talking rubbish, or you're talking nonsense. It's like, I appreciate that they're willing to discuss that with me, and they, a lot of the time when you're speaking to someone direct, you can see that it's affected them in some way, and it's not just they're looking for fame and glory and making something up. It's really impactful for them. So, I respect that, and it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what they want to get out into the public domain. So yeah, it's a difficult subject to navigate when you get down to those kind of levels, but again, it's a conversation that's worth having, because everyone's important. Everyone's got a voice, or should have a voice.
Yeah. I think also it's good to just kind of maybe just like ease people into it with, there's something flying around in the sky, and flying around underwater too. They aren't really swimming down there. It's weird. They're going, there's these objects, everybody, that are flying around underwater just like they would be in the air. So that's, it's reported, it's documented, and it's weird as shit, but like, I don't know what to do with that either. So people are hearing that for the first time. But it's like well documented. I didn't know this when I was reading, I keep bringing up Ross. I just finished it. But when I was reading In Plain Sight, the Nimitz case, which, if everyone doesn't know about the Nimitz case, it was in 2004 with David Fravor, Alex Dietrich, they're Navy pilots. They were out off the coast of right here where I live, San Diego. I forgot how far off, but they're doing a routine training exercise, and there was an anomalous radar pickup, I believe, and they had to go check it out, and they saw this whitewash doing some crazy stuff in the water, and then above it there was this white tic tac looking thing that was they think is maybe about 40 feet long.
Yep.
Like a giant 40-foot long tic tac. And everyone could go look this up if you want to search David Fravor or the Nimitz.
Best thing to search is the Nimitz Encounters, because it's a short documentary done by a guy called Dave Beatty. That kind of breaks it down with visuals the best way. So the Nimitz Encounters, no problem.
This is why I'm talking to Vinnie, everybody.
Well, listen,
he knows way more. I just try to like recall, you know, even when I talk to people about this in person, I'm just like, I think, you know, it's this or whatever. But yeah, go look that up. But
I had my friend Jason Turner, who was on the Princeton, the ship next to the Nimitz, was in the chat a minute ago. So he was involved in it. So shout out Jason if you're still here, man.
That's awesome. He's like, oh, they're talking about me. I'm out of here. But in Ross's book, he said that they also I think it was like, I can't remember if it was submarines or what, but they were detecting underwater. There were other things shooting off underwater that I never knew about, and I forgot how many knots it was, but it was like basically everyone, like, we have no human technology that can do that. Yeah. That we know.
I mean, that's what's been told, and yeah, apparently they picked something up on sonar. But again, this is the thing with the Nimitz case, is that there's a lot of data which is classified still, and that's understandable with the radar systems and the sonar systems that they had. Of course, it's going to be classified because we don't want adversaries, you know, knowing the capabilities of the sensor system. So again, it's one of those things that you go, okay, yeah, that's great, but we need that extra bit of proof to really, you know, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I can't go any further than saying that's really interesting, you know.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and it gets a little more, the thing that's crazy about it is when you have like all the different people like corroborating it.
Yeah.
You know, you have it from the ship itself, then you have it from the pilots that are connected to the ship. And it's just like, and then when they're seeing it with their eyes, like with binoculars, and then they're picking it up on radar and infrared and forward-looking infrared, and which I think is FLIR.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So like, you know, it's just yeah, it gets wild. So the right now we have 4 confirmed videos, or is there more than that?
3.
Because there's the gimbal, there's Go Fast, there's Nimitz, and then
that's it.
The Jeremy Corbell like red drone.
Yeah,
things.
there's those. Yeah, there was one of them confirmed by the Pentagon to be video taken by the Navy. Not to say that it's a genuine UAP, because that's kind of up in the air. I think that story's still ongoing a lot more. Well, they all are, to be honest.
It could be drones. A lot of people has drones or seagulls.
I'm kind of leaving that one for now, because I think Jeremy's still got stuff to do with that case. So I won't pass judgment just yet. Listen, one thing I'm going to say is I need to run to the bathroom and grab another drink. So can you just give me 2 minutes? Is that all right?
I'll keep talking, man.
Thank you, man. I'm going to shout out to everyone in the chat. If you've come from my page, please give this guy a follow.
Yeah, everyone. Here's another book too, which kind of blew my mind. I'm pretty sure his name's Graham Rendell. I think I pronounced that right, Graham. I don't know if that was backwards on the, but his book is UFOs Before Roswell: European Foo Fighters from 1940 to 1945. And that's crazy because I thought Foo Fighters was a band, right? They are a band, but in World War II, that's what they were calling UFOs back then, were Foo Fighters. And this book is crazy. It's no shade to Graham, but it is a little difficult to read if you don't like data. But because basically it's report after report from our Five Eyes, which is, you know, I believe it's Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the UK, and the US. I think I got that right. I think that's what the Five Eyes is. But this book is incredible because when I was reading it, you know, it's just going over, you know, 5 years of all these different encounters the pilots were having. And it's not just like the US saying it. It's the 5 different, you know, it's the Five Eyes just all saying, like, you know, like New Zealand pilots, Australian pilots, like they're talking about stuff in the 40s that is wild. Like when you read cases, like each one, I'm just like, what is going? So something's been going on. Something something could have been going on, even before we've been documenting it. But just shout out to. Do you know how to say? Is it Graham?
Graham Rendell. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Graham. Okay.
You need to get him
like
on
Graham,
here.
like Graham Cracker. Wait, you cut out. You cut out. Your volume's out. What happened?
Can you hear me?
Wait.
Maybe it's
there. You go.
1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, Graham. Yeah, like one of my closest friends, my colleague. He works with me at UAP Media UK.
No way.
You need to get him on. You need to get him on here, dude.
Oh, I would love to talk to him.
He would come on in like that. Honestly, he's the nicest guy.
Sweet.
He came and stayed with me a few weeks ago, and we did Instagram lives literally from this sofa. He's fucking awesome.
Rad. Yeah. No, he put in so much work into that, and like, just getting in, like, I think I was only in like maybe like 30 or 40 pages. I was already just like, it actually kind of gave me a sense of like dread for some reason, because I was kind of like, it feels like you kind of feel like an ant, or like I start to like look around more, like, what the hell's going on? I don't know what the hell's going on here, but it's again, it's a different story when it's, you have like captains, and you have like admirals and lieutenants and all these different people talking about these things that can do basically what we're saying, the pilots are saying now, but they're doing it back in the 40s.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just
like I've been lucky enough to we went down to London last year for 3 days, myself, Graham, and the rest of the UAP media team. We rented this Airbnb house in London, and just spent some time down there. But myself and Graham and Dave, we went to the National Archives to do some research. Graham was researching one of these books that's come out since that one. So I've seen the master at work, and he is incredible at researching with old documents and stuff. He's taught me so much. He's a huge asset to the community. So, yeah.
I would love to pick his brain too, and just be like, so after like doing all this research, what the hell do you think? Because something's clearly going on.
Dude, seriously, like I say, I'll send him a message. He'll be more than happy to jump on. He's so personable. He's the nicest guy in the world. Awesome. He'll be more than happy to. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
No worries.
I mean, that gets me very excited. Cheers
dude,
to that. And by the way,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, dude, I'll help you get as many guests as you need, man. I'll do my part. I'll be the middleman.
Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate that. It's cool hanging out with you, man. This is what I love about like even just FaceTime and stuff. You can just hang out no matter where. Because it's like almost 10 where you are? 10?
Yeah, it's 20 to 10, yeah. But it's a Friday night, and like I knew this was happening, and when I get a lot of invitations to stuff, and I hate saying no to people, but due to time, I have to say no to a lot. But when I got yours, I was like, I check out Chad's profile, and I was like, dude, this guy's got some seriously good posts. He knows, and like, but then I saw, other things about you, which I won't bring up, but it meant something to me. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
personal stuff to you.
It's okay. Like I'm pretty much an open book, so like I'll talk about whatever. Like I'm cool, and so if you want to bring up what you're talking about.
Well, I just saw that you've been through some medical conditions, which kind of was close to home with friends and stuff that I've been through in the past with friends, and that's always really inspirational to me. And so I was like, damn, he's obviously a fighter. The way that you have started portraying the UAP subject on your page was like you knew exactly where to come from it at the right angle. I was like, this guy reminds me of when I started, and I'm more than happy to jump on. And these are the kind of people I want to talk to, because I'm all about connections. I'm all about making contacts, connections all over the world, and doing it in a really, really friendly, relaxed way. So,
dude, thank you for that. And if you're ever in San Diego, man, we gotta.
Dude,
We
Dude,
gotta do BrewFOs in real time, you know?
hell yeah, man. I mean,
I'm
I plan on being everywhere in the States. I got so many new friends everywhere, but San Diego is, that's like, you know, that takes me back to my younger years when I was a skateboarder, because San Diego is like the Mecca, you know.
for sure. I always sucked at skating, but all my friends were really good, and I just tried to keep up with them. So like I was friends with a lot of skater people, but like I would like trying to ollie up the curb and just eating shit, and you know, like so. But yeah,
Dude, nah, I'd come out and hang out with you any day of the week, man. We'd have a blast.
hell yeah, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
And if it's during the winter, like right now, I know it's nothing compared to other winters, but I do cold dunks in the ocean, and it's like it's next level, man. And you come out and you're like, do you do that ever in the like how far are you?
I'm in northern England, so today, like, I woke up with ground frost. It was just over like 0 degrees. No, I mean, I'm good with cold, but not like too cold.
Yeah,
I'll do San Diego cold any day of the week.
dude, the beer out here is awesome.
Hell,
Dude,
yeah.
what's pretty crazy? One of my bands toured England in 2010, and I didn't drink beer then. And then every place we played, they'd give us free warm or like lukewarm beer. And so like I would be like, all right, it's there, you know. So I drink it, kind of be like, oh, you know, oof. And then by the time we got back home to the States, it was one night we were like sitting around, me and my wife, and I was like, man, I feel like a beer. And she's like, what? Like, because I didn't drink. You know, she's like, what do you mean a beer? And I was like, I don't know. So England got me on beer. So,
Wow.
you know, so cheers,
Cool.
you know. So.
Yeah, I will raise a toast to that, man. Cheers,
Yeah.
brother. What are you drinking, by the way?
Oh, this is a local. It's Coronado Brewing. So,
Nice.
I'm not sure. I think Sean Cahill might live out by Coronado or something, but
Okay.
I'd love to get him on here.
Shout out to Sean. Yeah, Sean. I mean, I speak to Sean quite regularly, but yeah, I don't think he's doing the public scene at the moment either.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's you know, talking about medical issues or whatever. Like this is, if you guys can see, that's one of. I got a little skin cancer removed right there, some sun damage. So the scar is healing up. That's one thing. But if you guys can, I know healthcare sucks in the U.S., but if you can, get yourself checked out, because we want you here, and your family wants you here, and your friends want you here. So like, get it checked out, get it removed when you can.
Absolutely.
But just, you know, being in the public eye, or, you know, doing something like this where people are going to watch it, like I'm like, oh, like it makes me,
dude, I'm
super, like,
I'm still like that every single day. Every interview I do, I have to hype myself up. I never imagined to be publicly facing. You know, I said earlier on, I spent a decade researching behind the scenes. My goal was to never be public. Maybe I should tell that story, because
I would love to hear that.
It's a bit boring.
But... No, it's not. Dude, we're chilling, man.
It all happened when the pandemic hit. You know, we were all in our houses, and, you know, I love my partner and my kid, but, you know, you get a bit bored. So I was like, I'm not going to go and shut myself away and just do research. So I was like, I'll just start an Instagram account on my phone and post a little bit of UFO stuff. And I started posting stuff, and literally it just almost instantly started gaining traction. I mean, serious traction. It was, at some points, it was like 1,000 followers every few days, and I was just like, Jesus. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And it got to the point where it was like, I'm going to kind of focus on this a little bit and make sure I'm posting really relevant information, and going from what I do research and putting it out there for Instagram to consume, you know, because I can't put out 10 pages of documents in one post. So how do I condense that into one post? And that's kind of how it started a little bit. And then I think after, end of 2020, I guess it was December, so 2 Christmases ago, I was like, I'm going to really, really go for this. And then 2021 hit, and I was like, I was still anonymous, and people were like, who are you? And all this, are you government? Are you like all this kind of stuff? And I'm like, oh, this is killing me. So I think I said if I hit 10K followers, I'll like do a reveal. And so that happened in early 2021. And I was like, I just jumped on an Instagram live just like this one night. I'd had a glass of wine and I was like, hey everyone,
Yeah.
like this is me. And everyone's like, what? That's not what I expected. You're just like a regular dude. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, that's me.
And it kind of started from there. That really helped keep propelling stuff. And then, you know, a few months later, I started the YouTube account and started getting interviews and stuff. And it's just been, I literally haven't had a minute to stop and think in the last year and a half.
Well, dude, I think the world's better for it.
Thank you.
No, seriously, I really do think, you know, this is everyone listening, it's a very serious issue that involves all of us, because what's happening is, you know, we don't, you know, I don't want to speak for Vinnie, but I think you would agree with this. We don't have the answers.
No,
like
you're right.
No one knows really what's going on, but, you know, people, you know, definitely since the 40s that are very legitimate till now are saying a lot of weird stuff is going on, and it doesn't sound like we're alone, or that we're the only intelligence, or that we're the superior intelligence maybe, but we're not saying it's aliens. It could be. We're not, you know, we don't know if they're talking about maybe interdimensional. We don't know if it's coming from our oceans, because what do we know about 5 to 10% of our ocean?
Yeah.
People forget, if you guys, you know, just look at a picture of the globe, like our planet is 72% water. I think that's right. 72, 73,
about that, yeah.
something like that. So like we're not a land planet. We are a water planet. So there could be stuff hiding down there. Who knows? And I'm not saying I believe that, again, like, you know, but something is definitely going on. And I have heard so much and learned so much from just watching Vinnie's conversations. And I encourage all of you, if you go to YouTube or if you just want to follow him here on Instagram, but Vinnie's talked to so many people. And just saying that, like yesterday when you talked to John
Burroughs
from the Rendlesham Forest, if people don't know about that, it was in 1980, and it was in oh gosh, Rendlesham Forest, but where is that?
It's in like southeast England.
Okay. And he's from the States, but he was out there, he was stationed out there, and just, I mean, I won't have to go into the whole thing, but that was just Vinnie's interview yesterday. And what's his last name? John
Burroughs.
Okay, John Burroughs. But just hearing his account and what he remembers, you know, it's just like, you know, there's so many of these stories and these encounters and these things that, you know, legitimate people have gone through, and there's something here, and that's the whole point of all of this. There's something here. And, you know, with that said too, I want to talk about phenomenology. I know in the beginning I was going to talk about it, but like Vinnie has a series called Phenomenology, and he basically, you are with a team of researchers, and you guys come from all different, you know, backgrounds, but the season 1, they went to Colombia, and I guess just kind of take it away from there, because I can't, there's Wicca and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude. Again, let me just run out. I got to shut a window because the cold air is coming in. But give me two seconds, and I'll give you the full story. Bear with me.
So Phenomenology, it's on Vimeo. If you guys want to check it out, it's in Vinnie's his link on his bio. It'll have all of his links pop up, so you can go check it out. The first episode is free on Vimeo, and then if you want to support them, which I highly suggest, because they're about to do season 2, but basically they go out to Colombia and they investigate these strange lights. Sometimes they're described as like orbs. Sometimes they're described as almost, it looks like a snake, like a light snake. And then I think some people have also, Vinny will have to correct me on this, but I think some people have also seen Craft, but it's in the mountains there in Colombia, and I think one of them's called Waika, if I remember.
Yeah.
And then you take it from there, because, you know, what got you into that? What's the series about? Like, kind of pitch it to people, I guess, because I want people to watch it.
I will. But one thing I'm going to say first of all, man, just in honor of you having me on the channel, after this conversation in the next day or two, I'm going to put together a little competition where one of your viewers can win access to the full series for free.
Oh, great.
We'll put that together, so if they follow you and me together and tag some friends, and we'll give out the full series to one lucky person.
That'd be awesome.
That's just to say thank you for having me on. So yeah, it's an incredible story, really. So I was doing my Instagram thing last year when it was blowing up, and this was before my YouTube, or before any kind of before I was really known in the subject. But I was making traction on Instagram, and I was contacted by this account called UAP Colombia, and I was like, okay, cool. This person, whoever it is, seems really cool. They're obviously really into what's going on in South America. They weren't sensationalizing anything. They were obviously a genuine researcher, and we would just talk every now and again. And after a while, I realized that the place that they lived was in front of this mountain on the edge of the Andean plateau, where strange lights had been witnessed. But for 400 years, these mythological lights have been seen. So you have people going back hundreds of years thinking these were the gods, and more recently locals thinking they're UFOs, and it was just fascinating to me.
So wait, right there. Well, can I stop you real quick? So it's only been documented 400 years, or that we know of? Like,
that we know of. That we know of.
Okay.
Yeah, because and I'll get to that in a minute, actually. And so we were kind of just having the odd little behind the scenes chat, and he kind of, I got a DM one day saying, I want to bring a team out here to investigate this phenomenon. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool, thinking nothing of it. And I jumped on a Zoom call, and this guy appeared on the screen, and he's Scottish, and he's in Colombia. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this isn't what I expected. I found out who he was, Ashley Cowie, and he was like, Google me, and I realized he's had his own TV shows on the Travel Channel, History Channel. He's been on Ancient Aliens. He was like this proper, genuine, like explorer, like full on Indiana Jones type dude. I was like, oh, okay, this is completely blown my mind. And he was just talking about, I moved to Colombia. I met a girl in Europe. She was from Colombia. I moved here, married her. I live here. There's this anomaly, and I'd seen some of the photographs he'd captured a couple of times that he'd seen this light phenomena, and it was intriguing. This is the kind of strange lights that have been photographed in other parts of the world. One place in particular is a place called Hessdalen in Norway, which was a project that's been going on since the 1980s, where in this very mountainous region of Norway, these really strange lights have been photographed and studied scientifically for decades, with no answers. And so I was very interested in that. We got to talking, and I didn't catch that. And Siri,
it happens.
She always likes to get involved. And the conversation just kept going. Like he really wanted to bring a team of people out to do a proper investigation into this phenomena, and I was just like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, yeah, thinking in the back of my head, how am I going to get to Colombia? And it got to about October last year, and he was like, right, it's happening. I'm flying you out here to do it. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm up for it. And literally, we got on a couple of Zoom calls. Dates got set, flights got booked, and that was great. It was going to happen. And then Dan, who you spoke about earlier, who's the kind of co-host on That UFO podcast, he's a colleague of mine at UAP Media UK. He was like, I really want to be involved. So they did a crowdfunding through That UFO podcast to get Dan involved, which was successful. This is like a good buddy of mine. So February of this year, 2022, I met, and Dan's from Wales, so, you know, quite a way away from me. I'm in Northern England. We met kind of central England. I did a little meetup with followers and stuff. And then the next day we flew out together from Birmingham, central England, on a 20+ journey to Bogota, Colombia, to start this investigation, which was always going to be a documentary. But we filmed so much over the 2 weeks that it became a series. And it was a case of speaking to locals. You know, these are local indigenous people, locals who have heard the stories passed down through generations of UFOs, of the gods, of the ancients, and this whole plethora, mixture of phenomena that's been talked about in the area. And it's only an hour away from Bogota, which is just this dense city of concrete in the middle of Colombia. But we were out in the rural area with beautiful mountains, which, you know, you've seen yourself, Chad, and it's a stunning location. We had a beautiful house that was rented for us, and we were kind of thrown into it and kind of like, go for 2 weeks. There's going to be a camera following you, and yeah,
well, it's very well done. It's almost like you know, like you guys did it. You did a really good job with it, and a lot like the hiking that you guys had to do up those mountains. Like, I was feeling for you guys in the episodes when you guys are hiking, because it just looks gnarly. And the air. What am I trying to say?
The elevation.
Yeah, elevation's high. So like, it's hard to breathe. It's hard to, you know, hike. And but it's so necessary. You know, there's a part of me that's like, oh my God, I'm glad somebody like Vinnie could do this, because I don't know if I'd ever want to do something like this, you know, and that you guys are all doing it, because
nah, anyone could do it. One of the team members was a judge from New York. Her name was Lydia. She was 70 odd years old. She didn't do the big hike with us, but she did some of the other ones, which were still to high elevation. Anyone could do it. It wasn't easy, but it was a worthwhile mission. And I guess I should tell the story for anyone that doesn't know. So for 400 years on this mountain peak, these strange lights appear every now and again. Now, obviously, back in the ancient times, not even ancient times, but hundreds of years ago, they thought they were the gods appearing, or souls of indigenous people. But it was something that is captured once, maybe twice a year from anybody that pays attention. And nobody knows what they are. They're strange lights that move about on the face of the mountain, sometimes in the sky. So, you know, obviously, I went out there thinking, I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen anything. I want to see something. I didn't expect to see anything. So the investigation over the 2 weeks was literally interviewing locals, and there was a video of the strange blue light, which I'm sure you're aware of, Chad, the blue light video, which was kind of someone had taken locally, which we investigated while we were there. I won't spoil that.
Yeah. I won't
so
either. There's certain things I want to talk about, but like, I can't.
Yeah, I know. Too many spoilers, man.
Yeah.
So we had lots of different little angles that we were doing, but let's just say at the end of the documentary series, I was lucky enough to witness something.
Yes.
I'll say that much.
So what has changed for you witnessing something? I know that would be hard to like talk about to people too, but like, I know obviously you still don't know what you saw, but I'm just like, we don't have to talk about it so we don't give away stuff, but just maybe like your process, like right now, what's going through your head about it, kind of thing.
It took me a good few months to even process that I'd seen something anomalous. And by anomalous, I don't mean a genuine extraterrestrial, but there's something that I could not understand. And so since then, I've looked into similar incidents like that around the world. I've really been researching deep on anomalous lights in regions with strange magnetic anomalies underground, really trying to do the science, go science first, cancel that out, and then go up to the weird and wonderful, try and come at it from that point of view. And I'm still in that phase. And so I guess the thing is, we're going back out in April 2023 to do season 2, and that's going to involve more science. We are going to visit climatologists, astrophysicists, observatories. We're still going to look at ancient sites and speak to locals and still hit it from all angles, but just go to different areas where these things have been seen. And this time we're going out in Holy Week, which is Easter for a lot of people around the world. But Holy Week in Colombia is a massive deal. And the historic records say that Holy Week is when these lights appear and that. So we're really trying to look at it from every angle. We're going with the spiritual, we're going with the historical, with the stories, but also with the science, so that we cover all bases, because it's not every day you get 2 weeks in Colombia to try and cover everything. So we're really going to try and hit it from all angles. And we're going to have a little bit more equipment this time. Which I'm not going to say too much about. That I've been really lucky that season 1 did so well that we've been contacted by people who had equipment that they'd be like possibly loan us. And I'm not saying it's the most in-depth scientific equipment. I still think we're far away from that. But this could be an annual thing that goes on for years. You know, I mentioned earlier this strange case of something similar in Norway that started in 1982, and they're still ongoing today. So, you know, we're nearly, you know, what's that, 40 years?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is just tackle it in the best we can with the limited budget that we have, which is nothing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's what's great about the show. One of the things that my wife and I both like loved about it was that, you know, it kind of shows other people, especially now with the internet, everyone can see it. It can be shared. It shows other people around the world like, oh, we could do this, or like, what's a situation by us that's, you know, anomalous that has been reported, and maybe we can go check it out. And then I know you guys mentioned now you guys could probably even hit up the Galileo project and be like, hey, something real might be here, you know.
I did. I have Avi Loeb on literally, I say speed dial. It's not speed dial, but Avi is so amazing at answering his emails. I'll literally send Avi an email. Within 2 hours, I've got a reply. He's incredible, man.
That's awesome.
So
if people don't know who Avi Loeb is, he's at Harvard. He's a Harvard professor. He was chief of astronomy for a while, right? And now he started the Galileo project and has over 100 scientists, like from all different backgrounds. And basically, they're setting up telescopes in certain areas, and they're looking at the sky and using artificial intelligence, like algorithms within the telescopes to like kind of pick out stuff that's anomalous. So it's not going to like pick, if it's a bird, if you guys look up Avi Loeb and hear him talk, he seems like such a sweet guy, but he's so smart, so intelligent, but he's just so straightforward. He's like, if it's a bird, I'm going to tell you it's a bird. But if it's something that's, you know, something's weird, you know, I'm going to tell you guys that too, you know. So
that's what I love about Avi as well. When you speak to him, he's just like, there ain't no BS. It's like, boom, you know, this is how it is. And they're like, cool, love that.
Yeah.
There's no, you know, no time to mess about. Don't mince your words. Just say it how you mean it.
Yep. And we have, it's incredible because we have the Galileo project with all these scientists, and there's you know, some of the people that have joined too. Like I know there's that guy that oh gosh, what's his name? Is it Michael Shermer or He's like Skeptic magazine.
Yeah, Michael Shermer, SETI Institute, Skeptic magazine. Yeah, absolutely. And that's like you were going to say, probably they're bringing in people from all angles, and I think that's great because you can't avoid the skeptics. Bring them in.
Yeah.
Give them the data. Let them. You know. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and I think it's good too. Like, you know, and people that are just joining, I'm going to save this so it'll be in the, you know, in my feed or whatever, so you guys can watch this later. But thank you for joining if you're joining now. You know, I think it's good too that people realize, like, I know we've already mentioned this, but like, we're not just being like aliens here. And I want to keep mentioning that because I think that's just where everyone's brain goes. And I understand because I was there. I was definitely there. And I might have even, you know, sad to say, I might have even like distanced some relationships with people in the past. I can't really remember, but it seems familiar. Like if someone was telling me some like some weird thing that happened to them, and I'm like, okay, I can't hang out with this person anymore. Ooh. And like, I that's like shameful on my part. But now, the more you learn, the the more you know. And I don't believe anything, but I do know something's going on, and I'm not saying it's aliens. I don't know what it is. I know you've had your first experience with something I can't even say it, anomalous.
Yeah.
And me and my friends and my wife, we saw something weird once, and I couldn't explain it. And now I believe again. I decided I don't want to say believe. Now I know that it was probably a UAP, or it can be categorized as UAP. But before, I didn't really know what to make of it, so I just thought it was a ghost.
Okay. Yeah.
And then in 2013, I saw something on July 4th here off the coast of San Diego. And it's so weird because until 2017, I didn't even think about it. And
Sure.
I've heard this from other people talking, but like, it seriously was, I think since my brain couldn't like understand what I'm seeing, I was like, it's nothing,
Yeah.
And
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. And then I have two now. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not the UFO community. It's more like just us as humans in civilization. This is happening.
Absolutely.
Some people don't know how to explain, or we don't know how to explain it. Some people don't want to talk about it. And then, there's people like, well, why doesn't everyone in, the military or every branch of the DoD come out and talk about it? Well, there's been a stigma, just in society about it. So why would you want to talk about it if you have a legit job and you're paying for your family? And like Lou I know he's got kids, and he's talked about like, I was giving up my job, and I was like, man, am I going to be able to help pay for my daughter go through college? Like, there's some decisions he had to make, but he's like, this is bigger than me. This is humanity. This is the biggest story of all time. And it's time now that we all take a serious look at this. And you don't have to think something's going on, but that's fine. But, science needs to look at this. Everyone, needs to understand that there is something there. And if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But I want to talk about it, so that's why I'm talking to you, Vinny.
Dude, and I will reiterate that the beauty of this thing is, no matter what level you look into this, is it brings people together. I would never have met you, and you're a straight up guy. And one thing that I've picked up on since we've been having this conversation is that you think on a really serious level, just like I do, man. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And when on any other subject would I be sat here now in the north of England on my phone speaking to someone in San Diego? This is a beautiful thing, man. And I look at all the positives in this kind of subject because it's really serious. And I spend hours and hours looking at this from a serious perspective. But then I get to have these beautiful conversations with like-minded people. These connections mean the world to me. So, it is multifaceted. It is elevating conversation. It is destigmatizing a subject that deserves serious conversation. And we're doing it right now. And so, I'm absolutely over the moon. So, and it forges friendships, dude. You know what I mean? So,
no, for sure. It's, it's been, like I mentioned earlier, like if I try to, talk to some of my friends about it, they'll kind of be like how I kind of was like, oh, he's talking about aliens, or, and I'm like, no, I'm not talking about, so like, I'm just trying to like tell them, no, like you got to look into this. But, I think this is rad that, we can connect through the internet now. And now I go, okay, now I can talk to Vinny about this. I have someone to talk to about this, I mean, we have a few friends we can talk to about it, but like, it'd just be cool if like, I think that's the only way we're going to get somewhere with this subject is if we are all
connect, man, all have that conversation, man. And that's just made me think of something really cool that I want to do is let's get Christmas out of the way. Let's get New Year out of the way. But like January, February time, how about you jump on my podcast on YouTube, do a live interview with me with a big guest?
That'd be awesome.
Because I think maybe I'll get Ross. Would you like to speak to Ross? Cool. We'll do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is, but I think you've got that kind of personal, like, good on camera. We could bounce up. I reckon we could bounce off each other so well on an interview, man. Like,
dude, I'm down. I think it's funny you say that, because like I was telling you, I've been so like anxious and nervous about this. I've been kind of reclusive and private for the last. But I'm gonna do a post next week about this, but it's coming up on my. I was diagnosed as autistic a year ago, so on December 14th, and I was going to explain a little more in a week about this, because that's like kind of the anniversary. But being in bands and being very outgoing before technology was really like, technology shot off like after 2010,
Sure.
But I loved entertaining people. I love being on stage. I love talking to people. I love being able to be in control of a situation. Like if there's a crowd, I can go be a goofy, dork and make everyone laugh, or like entertain people with music. And then I'd have to go run and hide, And so as technology got better and better, everyone's got a video camera now. Everyone's can, have a video of you doing something. Everyone's at a concert filming you. Everybody so I started to go, and then like after shows, it's like somebody would be like, hey, take a video of, with me and send, my brother's like on the other line, like, whatever. And I'd be like, and so, I kind of like started realizing like, I don't like the attention afterwards, but I like the attention on my work, or I like the attention on, entertaining. That's cool. But then afterwards, getting the attention was just kind of like, but after getting my autism, this is where I'm going with this. After getting my, diagnosis, I started to look at the world and look at my past a little differently. And then this whole UAP thing, it's really like, I just realized how big of a subject and an issue it is for humanity. And I just realized it's just way bigger than me.
Yeah.
So like, I just want people to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I want to know about it. I want to know what the hell's going on, because it's so weird, dude. It's like, it's so weird, and I want to know what's happening. And so I'm trying to just learn from people and learn what's going on. And what's the best way to do that, is to talk to people. And so that's what's going on right now. So I appreciate you saying that I'm good on camera, because I feel like my voice cracks. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm burping.
Exactly the same. This is the thing. Like I said earlier on, I still get nervous every single interview I do. I get nervous coming on here. But if you look in the chat right now, Lara Sandling Bennett, one of my closest that I've met through this platform, she says, "You found the best group of people who are like-minded." And Lara is just one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
Thanks,
in this
Lara.
subject. So listen, I want you to meet all my friends. I want you to become part of our community. And so I think having you join me for an interview in the new year is just the next level to what you're doing with your positivity, with this kind of like-mindedness that we found. I've been speaking to you for just over an hour, but like, you're a dude, man. Like, I can tell we'd hang out in real life. Like, this would be just like the best time ever, man.
Chilling. Yeah.
We need more people like you. The positivity goes so far in this subject, because it's difficult sometimes. I wake up some mornings and I look through my DMs, and it's just, I get hate, I get trolls and that.
Yeah.
And I don't deserve that. I'm just trying to get answers for people. I didn't force myself into this position. I accepted it, and I'm here still trying to do the best that I can. I'm doing stuff online. I'm doing stuff boots on the ground. I'm doing interviews and that. Like, I spend 60, 70 hours a week doing this, and I tell you, I get paid buttons.
Yeah, no, man, I hear you. But again, I think the world's better for it. And, I've learned so much just from Disclosure Team and everything you do. It's, I think everyone needs to get involved with this. They don't have to, talk like we're talking publicly, but just the fact that we did this today, I hope some people learned about this, learned about a little bit about what's going on. I hope people see Phenomenology, I know we're over an hour. We can cut it pretty soon here or
Dude,
whatever. But
I just got a message saying comments are turned off for a lot of us. Does that mean
oh,
anything
are
to
they?
you?
I don't know how to. Dude, again, I'm new at this.
That's cool. No worries. That was from Jason Turner that I spoke to earlier from the Nimitz Encounters.
Hmm.
He just messaged me saying comments are turned off for a lot of us.
Maybe that's something with, I have to go into settings when
Yeah,
I do live that
probably.
public can comment.
It could well be.
So Jason or anybody else, it's, this is my second Instagram live ever.
Dude, check your settings after this. But what I'm going to do is after we finish here, I'm going to do another Instagram live on my channel or my page, which you're welcome to jump on if you want to. And I may even get other guests on as well, so we can have more of a conversation.
Yeah.
Dude, I want you to be part of the conversation now. I want you to be part of our little family that we've created here on Instagram, dude. Because I'm so glad that you reached out to me, man. You're an absolute legend.
Thanks.
So yeah, it means so much to me.
Thank you, man. I'm stoked you got back to me and were like, yeah, let's do this. And
Hell yeah, dude.
I really hope people learn something, even, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So
you do, though. That's the thing. You're obviously coming from a really genuine place of wanting to understand something, but you're looking at it logically. You're looking at it with the right questions. You're not jumping too far. You're not going in the wrong direction. You're just being very open. You've got that table laid out in front of you. You've got these different pieces on that table, and that's how I see things. You won't just pick things or push things off without the data and stuff. I've got that from the way that you've spoken so far, and that everything's resonated with me. So, and you're just an awesome guy. So what can I say, man?
Thanks, man. No, likewise. Well, I mean, I have another beer I haven't opened. So, I mean, if you're going to do another live after this, maybe I will join you. So
amazing. Seriously. I'd love that so much, man. Honestly.
Well, cool. Well, yeah, let's end it, because I just like you had to take a piss break. I do. I think beer's coming through me now too.
No worries.
But
thank you so much, man. It means a lot.
Dude, thank you. And everyone, go follow Vinny. Check out his links. Check out Phenomenology. Thanks, Vinny.
Dude, we'll get that competition sorted as well.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
All right, brother. All right. Speak to you later.
Later.
Bye. Bye.